over the weekend. Of course, this preseason game was held in Dallas, and that meant that Rod Woodson and Jerry Sandusky were on the Ravens call. And Rod, apparently, as we saw on Twitter, thanks to a guy named Chris Cooper, who's a fun follow and a Ravens fan, tweeted out something that Rod said on the air, which was apparently, and you and I didn't actually catch this because we were listening to the radio call from the Dallas perspective, which was a tough listen, by the way. Apparently, Rod Woodson, the great Rod Woodson and a Hall of Famer, said that Lamar couldn't beat the Ravens 2000 defense. And Chris was like, well, what do you think? Hashtag Ravens flock. Well, Lamar sees this because it starts to get some run online. And Lamar quote tweets Chris. And Lamar says, laughy emoji, brah, 2 different eras. But it sounds good, though, with 100 emojis. And Sarah, this was not the first time he tweeted. He had time. Lamar had a little bit of time. So let's run you through this, and then I'll get your reaction. So in the mentions, of course, Joshua Rouse, familiar name in the Twitter space as well. I think he follows the show. He writes back to Lamar, hey, what he meant, meaning what Rod meant, was that you couldn't run the ball on them. Speaking specifically to Lamar here. Lamar goes, Joshua, bro, I play for the Ravens. I'm not even against them. So let's put him on his Raiders team, meaning Rod. I see a lot of running lanes with them, and I love me versus him in the open field with a couple 100 emojis. He goes on to say, all y'all doing this is making this a 1 versus 11 thing. Ask him, meaning Rod, what would he have done in the open field with him and me? I know for 1,000,000% he wasn't going to win that battle. More from Lamar. Jeremy writes to him, I mean, are we playing this under the rules of this era or that one? That era, I don't know, because they really punished the quarterback. This era, Lamar would slice through them or get a lot of PI calls or roughing. Lamar writes back to Jeremy and he says, I hear all that about the rules, but do you think that I'll just sit there and these people do what they do? And I think it's let these people do what they do to other quarterbacks back then, as if to say, I'm going to run around them. I'm going to run through them. I'm going to run away from them. So yeah, Sarah, Lamar had time on social over the weekend.
Was that all of them? I'm sure there's more, but are those the ones that we pulled? Yeah. Listen, I love this conversation because I like the debate. Okay. I love the debate and I don't feel like anything ever got personal, right? Never got personal. Lamar is challenging people on the football field and what would happen. That's number one. Number two, I love this type of thing where it shows how competitive Lamar is. When Lamar is up at the podium, he's always cracking jokes. He's laughing. When it's like issues like his contract or things he doesn't want to talk about, he just won't talk about it. And so I love the fun-loving Lamar that we get at the podium. And at the same time, here we are with Rod Woodson, a Hall of Famer. He's been to a few teams, but, a Ravens legend also. And Lamar is like, no, we're not going to do this. And I love that his confidence in himself. Bring the Hall of Famer up against me, one-on-one in that open field, and you tell me who's going to win this. I want to hear him say it. I want to hear him say, yes, the Hall of Famer is going to take me down one-on-one in the open field. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. All of this stuff is like hypothetical. Like, I don't like Lamar behind this offensive line against that 2000 Ravens defense. But if we're talking about Lamar with Marshall Yanda right there, and he's got, his solid offensive line, and it's Lamar being Lamar. Listen, we saw he's not even as dual threat as Lamar is, but Titans quarterback Steve McNair, he beat him. He beat him that year. It's not like that team went undefeated. Is it impossible that Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, could have beat that 2000 Ravens defense? Look, I would be here for it. I'd have popcorn out. I would love it every single day. I don't know, but what I do know is I love that Lamar wasn't going to sit down and be like, oh yeah, they could get me. He's taken on the greatest defense of all time and saying, I wish I could show you what I would do against them because they're not touching me.
It's almost like forget the debate.
Yeah.
Forget the debate for a second and appreciate this look inside, right? This peeling back the curtain, if you will, that Lamar rarely gives us.
Yeah.
So stoic at the podium, reserved at times, playful, downplays his certain pieces of greatness that have made Lamar who he is over his 7 years in the league. And unlike, to your point earlier on, unlike the Bernard Pollard saga from a couple summers ago where it did get personal and maybe even under Lamar's skin, this is a good-spirited, fierce, competitive spirit. And I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely like inject this into my veins because it's like this look inside Lamar that you only see in between the lines when you're suiting up for or against him.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this right here. Am I reading into it too much? I don't know, but I'm fired up about it because we don't get to see this is not something that we're privy to all that often.
Yeah.
Everybody is in that building. Everybody is that lines up with them on Sundays. And so you better believe, we may not hear back, but you better believe a text is going out in the next hour or so to Rod Woodson. We'd love to have him on the show. We have before. He's a Hall of Famer. I'd love to get his perspective on this because Sarah, he's such a great guy. Like, he's a competitive spirit guy too, of course. He's a Hall of Famer. You already know he feels confident that his defense is going up against him.
Yeah.
But Lamar, as an all-time great who makes elite of elites miss, he's got to make you. I mean, think about what he's done to some of the greats, some of the great linebackers, some of the great defensive ends, some of the great outside linebackers, all out freaks, making them look silly.
You're right. Like, as I'm thinking about this, there's guys that he has made probably future Hall of Famers look silly, like TJ Watt. Watt, how many times has he stiff-armed him and been like, nope? Or some of the, I don't know that they're future Hall of Famers, but Pro Bowlers and all pros of the Bengals that he stiff-armed and still delivered passes. What's the, why am I forgetting his name? The inside linebacker, San Francisco 49ers, my guy from BYU.
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner, like when they played the San Francisco 49ers on Christmas night, and the way he just tore up that defense with Fred Warner. Like, who else, Bobby? Like, there are some huge names that he's been like, I got this. Like,
take your pick.
Take your pick. So why wouldn't he have done it? If he's doing it to today's future Hall of Famers, why couldn't he have done it to yesterday's Hall of Famers? Like, who's to say he couldn't? Lamar's certainly not going to bow down and say, nah, I couldn't against the 2000 Ravens. And these are the intangibles, Bobby, like, to your point that, like, because Lamar is usually so private and he is fun loving at the podium and this kind of stuff, when people who don't follow the Ravens talk to me about Lamar, and some of them are like, hey man, like, especially after the last 2 years, they're like, Lamar, he's like, he can pass, like, he can do this. He's like, they were like, I thought he'd be injured by now, and maybe like his career kind of going down the tube for maybe running too much and getting hit and this and that. And I'd say to them, I was like, people don't know about Lamar. Number one, his competitive drive. And like, you do not evolve and become a 2-time, nearly 3-time MVP by being a one-trick pony. Like, you don't evolve without being uber competitive and studying the game. Nobody can say that Lamar has relied alone on his physical, athletic, God-given talent. He has not relied on that alone. He uses it to his advantage, of course, but he doesn't rely upon it alone. People don't know about his vision of the field. And then people don't know that, like, I just like his ability to just learn and grow and evolve. And like, these are things they didn't see when they let him drop to number 32 to the Ravens. These are things that they didn't see when they were saying he should play wide receiver. These are things that they didn't see when they said, oh, his career is going to be over just like RG3, that he is uber competitive, that he is just a student of the game, and that he will continue to work and evolve and get better. I wish these intangibles more people can see. And like you said, maybe it is reading too much into this little exchange, but I think it's giving us a little tiny peek inside the window of more of what his personality is.
And hey, it goes both ways, right? Rod's entitled to his opinion. The guy was on the 2000 Ravens defense. Yeah. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That guy was a pivotal part of that defense. Was he the biggest name on that defense? Of course not. But he absolutely deserves his thoughts on this. And so I think it's great. I think it's great. It's respectful. It didn't cross a line. And there's just competitive spirit that is bursting from this exchange on both sides of it. I loved it. I appreciated it. Great stuff.